What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Johnny Depp, if Jack Sparrow, could be in the same movie as Margot Robbie's character in Pirates of the Caribbean. So it's a tough title. It's a lot of words. It's not really well put together. To be honest with you, I don't know what the title of this video is at the time I'm recording this, but I want to try to talk about how we can bridge these two things together. You know, I don't think I've been hiding it, and I don't think I really care about hiding it. Margot Robbie's, my kind of displeasure with what that movie could eventually be, okay? I've talked about how I like Margot Robbie, all that good stuff, but that I'm not, pleased with what we've heard from her standalone film. However, we just last week talked about Jack Sparrow, right? Pirate 6. And I want to talk about if there's a way of putting these two things together, because what still doesn't make all that much sense is, remember, there is a Pirates 6, like officially a sixth movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean world, written by Terry Rossio. And, this is going to be a big deal. Jerry Bruckheimer obviously attached. Now, he's attached to the Margot Robbie one as well, but, this is going to be a main installment Pirates of the Caribbean film. Now, will it be a soft reboot? Well, that's obviously what we have always heard, right? Now, if it includes Johnny Depp or not. So, again, like we did kind of last week, I want to take the doubts out of it, right? Because we can go back and forth. It's like, okay, well, will Johnny Depp be in it? Will he not? We've talked about that stuff before. Last week when we talked about how to end his story in Pirate 6, we kind of just dropped those, and we just had assumptions that it would happen, okay? So, let's do the same thing here. Let's make the assumption that Johnny Depp, that Jack Sparrow, is in the next Pirates movie, the next main installment one, okay? Now, and that's where we're going to kind of start it, and we're going to leave anything behind it, and we're going to talk about, okay, do you bring Margot Robbie into it? Can these two characters relate? Do you have Jack exit, and then Margot Robbie is there, and then obviously that's where her female one, comes in? We're going to talk about that, okay? Again, as always, if you guys do like this stuff, make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turn on. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Let me know if you guys have any topics you want me to cover. I'll definitely give you guys a shout out and move forward with that. I have a couple other ideas, and we will talk about more, the politics of it, the Johnny Depp stuff, Margot Robbie, Amber Heard. We'll talk about that as the weeks go on as well, but I wanted to give all of us kind of a break here. All right. So Johnny Depp is back. We're in a fake imaginary world that hopefully becomes real. Hopefully becomes real very soon, where Jack Sparrow is in Pirate 6. Now, again, last week we talked about, do you kill him off? Do you have him end with the Pearl? Do you not have him end with the Pearl? Like, how do you end his story overall? Well, does Margot Robbie make an appearance? So again, what's always been confusing is that movie exists, and so does Margot Robbie's. And I believe when Margot Robbie's first happened, they had talked about, there's a quote out there somewhere, I don't remember the quote, but that it would be entirely separate from what's already happened. Now, again, I don't like that. If you're going to do Pirates of the Caribbean, you do Pirates of the Caribbean. If you're going to have a female pirate movie that has nothing to do with what has already been established, call it something else. All you're really doing is relying on the name, which is what a lot of things do. And I've said it before, I'm not against diversity. I'm not against kind of recasting. The recasting and giving it to other genders or other races or whatever. You can do whatever you want. But I think the fact is, you're kind of, again, letting the name carry you. You don't really care about what you're doing. You want to make a political statement, and then you kind of want to let the name carry you the rest of the way, instead of just doing something different altogether. If you want a different race for a character, but to call it the exact same thing and remake the movie, just make a different movie with that character and actually make a unique character. But remember, Hollywood is out of ideas, so they don't do that. So I know that was a little bit off topic, but I think that they're kind of lying. I think that's kind of the main thing I want to talk about, is that I think the Margot Robbie movie will be attached in some way, whether it be very, very lightly, to what we've gotten. Honestly, you even look at kind of like Birds of Prey, which, again, I don't really love comparing anything to Birds of Prey, but you look at Birds of Prey, it is doing its own thing. It's even got kind of its own spin on Harley, right? Harley, actually, in every movie that Margot Robbie has done, Harley has been pretty darn different. You know what I mean? And that one obviously had its own spin, but it technically is still part of the established world. And I mean, obviously with the reliance on kind of Joker and her breaking up, which started all of this, I mean, it does know where it is. It does know it's part of this DC universe, this DC extended universe, right? It knows that. It's not super hardcore into it. So even if the movie is like that, I guess that's fine. I mean, at least it knows it's in a Pirates of the Caribbean world. But I think you read articles, you read even comments. I really think the best way to handle a situation like this is to give the character a platform in the main movie. Now, that could lead to a disaster for the main movie, but if you had Jack running the show in Pirate 6, now obviously you have, if we're imagining this fake world, you have Elizabeth, you have Will, maybe Elizabeth just a little bit, you have Will like a major character, you have Davy Jones back, all that stuff. Again, I guess depending on if they want to use the secret ending, or like secret ending in terms of like a game, if they want to use the after credit scene for Pirates 5. If they do that, obviously they can go down that path. They don't have to. They could go with Poseidon. They could go with some other kind of fictional character, whatever you want to do, right? But if you had him meet Margot Robbie in this movie, have that character start to be established in that movie, and then, kind of end it, you end Jack's story. Again, Jack would be the most important part of the movie. Now, and we talked about that before, while I don't like putting too much on him because I think that the overall movie suffers, I think he can handle it. I think Jack as a character is fine. We've talked about that before. On Stranger Tides is not bad for the reason that, like, he fails at carrying it because they put so much on him. No, his character is actually really good in 4. All the scenes with him are good. All the scenes with him and other characters like Barbossa are very good, but they forget about the rest of the movie. They forget that there is a villain. They forget that there are other characters. They forget there is a love interest. Because they put too much on Jack. And so again, for Pirate 6, he would be the most important part because it would be all about saying farewell to him, but you'd have to, but you could still do that and introduce Margot Robbie. And again, like you look at, say, like the MCU or even the DC universe, right? And you can have standalone movies before you bring them all together, okay? But they're characters that we already know through comics or through something else, all right? And not all of them, by the way. Some of them get elevated quite a lot by being part of a group. I would arguably say Thor is a good example. Thor 1 and 2 were not, I mean, I personally really didn't like them, but I think even in the wide scale of things, I don't think that many people like them. Thor really started to get popular and started to build his own identity when he was in the first Avengers movie. So those are different examples, obviously, but for a character like Margot Robbie's, whatever character she is in this Pirates world, to have her be introduced in Pirates 6, I do think makes the most sense. Now, what's tough, because again, you have to back off and talk about the politics of it, it really almost seems like her movie is going first, which does completely ruin what I'm talking about. I guess it is what I just said, though. Maybe they could still do it, have her star in her own movie, and then she appears in Jack Sparrow's, Johnny Depp's movie in Pirates 6. But I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of weird. That would be putting even more on Margot Robbie. So it'd be like, oh, look, let's focus on this character we've already established and let's make her an even bigger part, maybe even take a lot of stuff away from the characters already established in Pirate 6. So you see how that really, obviously I'm wording it in a certain way to make it sound bad, but I think it's very hard to make that sound good, to be completely honest with you. I really think the best way they could do it is have her be introduced, start to make her likable, start to make her and Jack, I'm not saying, by the way, make it like a romantic interest, just make her a good character, make her kind of gel with everybody, and then when Jack leaves, or, however they do it, or whoever leaves, maybe Mr. Gibbs leaves with him, whatever, you can still have Margot Robbie. Now, I'm not saying give her the pearl, because that is something, in that Express article that talked about how Disney is looking at rehiring him, they did talk about how it makes sense to kind of give her the pearl, like pass along. I don't think people would be happy with that whatsoever. The pearl is Jack's. The pearl doesn't really make sense with anybody but him. Now, we talked about it before, right? Barbossa got it at the end of 3, but again, that's very reminiscent of 1, and it kind of ties, it kind of like goes full circle, which I kind of like. And again, if they didn't make 4, you could picture in your own head Jack Sparrow probably is stealing that thing back at some point. You know what I mean? Then you could say, I guess maybe you could do the same with Margot Robbie, but I really don't think that's kind of necessary. So while I'm not sold on like the need for him to have the pearl at the end of 6, to give it to her just doesn't seem right to me. You know what I mean? I think there's actually other people that'd be way more qualified to have it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think they should introduce her in 6 and then have her do her own movie. It kind of helps, I think, the overall situation. It would make her more likable off the bat, especially, again, if she gels with Jack. A lot of people, I think, would like her more, and then you give her own film. If you do it in reverse, I feel like you're almost putting the emphasis on her. You're making her the more important character. So I don't really think that works very well at all. But again, we're not in control. The idiots, some idiots personally, are in control. So we'll have to see how it goes overall. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think she should be introduced with, kind of with a relationship with Jack in Pirate 6? Do you think she should start off with her own movie? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turn on. Again, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Thank you all so much for watching. We keep doing this, a brand new Pirates video every single week, and so I hope to see you guys for next week's video.